Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon, and we're here to write some games, and I write games for fun. So, what the fuck happened, Notepad? I'm going to explain what happened. People in my Discord already know, but for those who don't know, I'll probably clip this little section as well. My computer that I've been using for a very long time is about 5 years old now. It had a Windows registry error. Yes, Windows itself decided to commit Sudoku on my goddamn, life. So it killed itself. It just evaporated. There's nothing I could do about it. I managed to recover a lot of files, but not everything. There are some things that are a little bit janky, including right now, if you can probably hear it a little bit. Give me 1 second, actually. I'm gonna... audio input. Do I have a filter? I forgot I had a noise gate. Things sound a little bit weird. It probably should, because guess what? I lost all my settings. I lost a lot of things. Yeah, Windows registry. Nothing I could do to cover it. Friend, my IT tried his best. Tried to save as much as I could. Went from I am unable to save anything to save something. I'm happy that I was able to save something. And generally speaking, we're all set up and we're all good. I'm back. I'm live. Also on a computer. It's a different computer. It's 11. It's a little bit weird. Hi, everybody. Type a little slow. Things don't quite look right. Blame it on the fact that this is kind of a different keyboard layout. It's just a new... Oh, okay. And if something doesn't sound right, or something isn't registering very well, tell me. My best to fix everything. Generally, you know what? Screw it. Let's just get rid of the noise gate. It's a lot easier said than done. Let's just say that. So thank you all for sticking with me at this. I would also like to thank Little Heel Boy for actually subscribing. Yes, thank you very much. That's very cool of you. I like it when people do things, and you didn't all forget me, which I am very happy about. I also think I thanked Valentin Zenlov. I'm pretty sure I did already, but if in case I didn't, thank you for following. We're at 112 followers, and we're on a quest to 200. So thank you all, and we're gonna be working on Blood, on a Saga of Blood, Iron, Soil today. And not to say I haven't done anything, because I actually have done some things. So, bear with me here as I get everything set up. I just want to kind of give everyone a lowdown on what's going on, what the Notepad experience is. Yeah, my setup looks a lot different. Let's just say that, and the screen's a little bit bigger. My desktop, my icons are a little bit different. It's just genuinely kind of a mess. Just everything around. Also, we have more ads because I can run ads because fuck you. Saga of Blood, Iron, Soil. I need to open you up. Okay, cool. Let's open you up. Let's open you up, and then let's open you up. Because I'm not gonna say I didn't do anything. I had a 10-inch fucking Chromebook. A 7-year-old 10-inch Chromebook that could barely run anything, but by God, I did try my best to actually work on some things. And this was actually one of the big things that I ended up working on. And what actually occurred, what was the kind of the gist of it. I did some minor fixing around here, just kind of tweaked some things, kind of did some minor changes. Generally speaking, the big thing I did was God, the fact that it's so smooth, it's kind of disorienting. I'm used to it kind of chugging because this computer is much nicer than my old one. Like, this actually has like a decent CPU in it. So the fact that Google's like, I'm automatically loading. I'm like, oh God, my eyes. What I did do was fix up all of the benefits. You can kind of see here, this is what it is. I also kind of wrote in some other little things just to make sure everything worked the exact way I wanted it to. Generally speaking, the main idea is that you can pick any of these benefits and drawbacks. I didn't want anyone to feel ever restricted in them, so if you have like an idea that you want to take, you could. And I left some spaces here for some images. I couldn't really do any images and stuff on my original little Chromebook because it's a shitty little Chromebook. I'm not using that as like an excuse either. I'm saying that it is a literal garbage that it crashed out when we were on Discord one day because it ate its own memory. So this is our example one. We have Ingolf Blue Eye Ornson. He, back in Norway, and he'll support villages surrounding Fairhair's conquest with food and shipments. Under the nose of the fledgling king and his followers, after a bad deal and loose tongues, Ingolf's boat was burnt and he fled with his friend's family toward Iceland. Generally speaking, he is pretty solid. He's very accomplished in certain aspects, while in others he's not that accomplished. The biggest thing that he actually spent points in was mostly things like athletics and endurance. He has a little bit of fighting. He's not actually that warfare prone. You kind of see some of the price differences here. He got his free points in warfare, so he put 1 into agility and he put 1 into marksmanship. The general, actually no, he put 1 into endurance, I believe. Yeah, 1 into endurance, 1 into agility. The general gist being that he's kind of a all-around. He does have seamanship here, simply because he's a sailor. However, he did invest a lot of his points into intrigue. He's a very intrigued person, very heavily focused on that. He's pretty above average, especially when it comes to his willpower, kind of seen by his abilities down here. And a lot of his things are things like clenched teeth, hearts and minds. His big thing is that he wants to convince you to be his friend before you really have a choice in the matter. He's alive. Yes, I am alive. Yeah, even though it apparently doesn't want me to be. But yeah, I'm back. I'm alive. News of my death has been greatly exaggerated and all that jazz. I'm just going over kind of what I did, which isn't actually that much. Yeah, the big thing is with him is that he is not very much a fighter, and he is technically considered a criminal. I just want to give a sample character and how it works. And if we scroll up here a little bit, that was kind of the big thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to get the brief history of Iceland done. However, I couldn't do the brief history of Iceland because my computer exploded. So bear with me here. So the big thing what we want to do is the clan. My goal is to try to get a lot of the clan stuff done today, as I was supposed to do last Friday. That was one of the big ideas that I wanted to get last Friday. I wanted to hammer out all this stuff and have this week kind of as a sailor coast week. This coast through the rest of the week. That obviously failed dramatically. Yes, Windows 11. Yes, this is Windows 11 with all of the nightmare inducement I have to deal with. I don't hate Windows 11. I'm not a massive fan of it. It reminds me of Macs. So if you really like Macs, you're gonna kind of hop on Windows 11 pretty easily. If you don't like Macs, you're not gonna like it as much. I'm not a huge Mac guy, never have been, but it works. It does its job, and that's all you can really actually hope for at the end of the day. And yeah. Yes, I'm walked in my stream health here. My stream health says like you are like suffering massive bitrate failure. I'm like, okay, we're fine. It just dipped there for a second. Cool. Yeah, we're going to be working on the clan today. Otherwise known as we're going to be kind of working on the family stuff and how that's going to handle. Now, one of the big problem children of this particular thing is that I can't actually use Blood, Coin, and Steel's main systems for it. I can't. Being general here, one of the major issues is that if I select, say, let's say the family, for example, I can't really use any of this stuff. I have to only really use the ideas up here. Oh. Where it's a little bit different, and trying to get everything to work properly is going to be a little bit more complicated. Because I can't really use the system one-to-one. I'm going to have to use a little bit of a jankier method to maybe make it work. Maybe. I'm also going to be using the generational play system because that's a pretty big part of this entire thing. Let me see. I want to do... yeah, right here. Legendary figures the group has gone through. 3d6 event determine the amount of prestige they brought with the group. Each legendary figure, group of perk. Yeah, this is a very different system than how I'm planning to actually do things. So it's like, okay, how do I want to handle this? And the oh, they finally did release it. Yeah, I'm not too surprised. They've been threatening to do that for a while. Yeah, that's always been kind of how you had to play Maesta. Like, that's one of the bigger problems with that particular game, is that it was very class-based and not in a good way. So let's see, we want to do... Also, if I type a little bit slow and awkward, the keyboard is set up different. It's an American keyboard, don't get me wrong. It's just like some of the placement of the keys are a little bit tighter, so it's like... muscle memory cannot be applied here very well, so bear with me. So, we're going to do the clan, the family, and the person. In Iceland, there are two definites. There are two guaranteed. Actually, there are two. There's two aspects which define life. The relationships and bonds formed with others, and the clan which guards you. A clan can translate to a loose conglomeration of families who live, work, and play on a singular man's farmstead. This man is the chief. He is the master of his domain, and is expected to lead the others in crisis. Actually, in the earliest days of Iceland, these chiefs were numerous and plentiful. But as time moves forward, individuals will begin to lose authority to larger Godi, to larger, more formalized High chieftains. Chieftains who guard, who protect the rights, of those who follow them. You got a whole new setup, to a degree. It's still it's still a fucking laptop and it's Windows. Don't get me wrong. It's just that the fact that I lost a lot of things, and the brand new keyboard is just ever so slightly different with just how it's laid out, the keys and such. So it's kind of like getting up. Yeah, I'm a mobile person. Fuck you. Like, I've always had these. I like to be mobile. Like, I don't want to really drag around an actual desktop. Yeah, no, make fun of me all you want, but I don't intend to stay here for very long, and I would rather have a laptop that I can actually move and like actually carry with me than have a desktop that might get broken. Oh, that didn't sound good. Also, no Maesta 4, no Maesta 2.5, no. Loop that. Oh God, I've had one forever, like just because, you know, college and shit like that. So let's see. More formalized high chieftains who protect those who follow. Lose authority more who. As a clan, it's as a clan, the clan's true purpose is to work the farm and survive the next winter. Life is hard in Iceland during this time. Life is hard in Iceland during this time, as winters are cold, and many pass away. And actually, as winters are cold and the crops bear little. The Vikings are by their nature a pastoral people. Though, rather than crops. Iceland is home to thousands of animals. Iceland is home to thousands of animals who supply the meat, goods, and survival gear for the clan and beyond. Okay. Just have to establish, like, what are you actually doing here? So, first things first, we're going to do the families. So, families, a clan entering. Yeah, that happens. Ideally, I would actually have like a good desktop and like a workbook, but you take what you can get. Clan first landing. So, clan first landing in Iceland. Iceland is beholden to few except themselves and the vague laws which follow them. A chieftain and will choose and establish their initial homestead. homestead, erecting their longhouse for all to live in. Roll on the following chart to determine the number of unique families coming over from Norway. These individuals are either sworn to the chief, or are seeking passage and work. The chief's family owns the boat, and in turn the right to lead. So we got to go here. We got to do. We will do that. We want to go here. So number of families. How do we want to word this? Actually, we want to do 1, 2-3. Oh God. Yeah. Again, bear with me here. This is your rewrite of Blood feud. Not really a rewrite of Blood feud, more of my insane autismal look at writing my own version of the said game. Blood feud is not hardly considered to be a game in any remote context, so this is me actually trying to make a game, which we've min-maxed the goat to cow ratio at this point. It's getting pretty bad, not gonna lie. So number of families, 1. Actually, give me 1 second. We're going to add this. Roll the following chart to determine the number of unique families coming from Norway. Comma. Roll a second time to determine the number of these individuals to the number of clansmen. The number of clansmen following. The number of clansmen available. After this, I'm going to roll for the number of thralls you have, because there's a chance you're going to start with some fucking slaves. Okay, so number of families, we're going to say... Actually, we can do 2, 3, and then 4, just a shit ton of families. Now, I'm making these separate in a way, because what I need to do is we're going to do the number of clansmen. So, actually, how many... and then to house up to 20 or more families. Oh wait, no, longhouse, Viking longhouse. Gotta put on the right wording there. Up to 30 to 50 people. So we should actually bump this up to. Actually, number of families, we'll do 2 to 3. 3 to 4, and then we'll do 5 plus, and then the number of clansmen. We're going to do 30. We'll do 25, 20, then 15. There we go. So the idea is, let's roll. Okay. Here's our example roll. So, our first roll is going to be the number of families. Let's see, I rolled a 5, so we're going to have 3 to 4 families. So about 3 to 4 families, and we're going to have a number of clansmen on our second roll. We rolled a 4, so we're going to have about 25 people. 25 clansmen. Is this game involving kind of combat with a chief? A roll for... I get what you're saying. Combat. The thing is, like, there's going to be a combat system. It's not just going to be like, here, time to do this. Like, there's going to be combat. There's going to be an intrigue system. And like, one of the big things is I want characters to kind of, how do I word this, develop naturally in a way. Hence why I'm going to have to put in quite a few of, like, formal fighting didn't actually happen all that much. Like, I didn't just walk over to somebody else's farm and burn down their fucking house. No. But yeah, like, if you want to kind of adopt nicknames and you have to want to adopt kind of terms and the idea of, like, you're gonna get these things. And eventually over time, I want you to kind of, I want to care, like, the goal is with this game at the end of the day is take a family of Vikings from 874 to 1232. I believe it's 1232. That's the entire goal. It's just the idea of very slowly kind of progressing through the generations and kind of recalling, yes, my ancestor, Ornstein Blue Eyes. He was the grandest and most handsome of men, and he seduced 100 women. He was this great and wonderful person. And have that kind of that term. When someone gets called Blue Eyes, you immediately don't know if they're a complete scumbag that you want to stab to death, or the fact that they're like these really overly charismatic individual. I want things to be kind of... So yeah, if you want to eventually become known as like as Bluetooth, or you want to eventually kind of gain these titles, I want them to feel a little bit more natural than just like you've gained the title Bluetooth. Da, 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 da. That's kind of the idea, because that's what these things were. They were natural titles given to people. Harald Fairhair was not called Harald Fairhair because he had gained the title Fairhair. It's because he had blonde hair. He's blonde. So let's say, for example, we have 25 rough clansmen among 3 to 4 families. Let's say we have about 4 families. Actually, yeah. So let's say we have about 4 families. So we're gonna have about, Actually, let's see. Roll second table. Determine the number of clansmen. Clansmen available. These individuals sworn to the chief seeking pass. The chief's own family owns a boat and in turn the right to lead. Not all clansmen will be a part of one of the major families. They are simply outside. They are simply from outside, or don't actually have a family. Actually have any kind of family. This does include thralls. So okay, let's say, for example, R3. Let's just do random Scandinavian, actually random Viking name generator. Hell yeah, we all like Viking name generator. Thorkelson. Alright, the Thorkelson clan. Alright, poggers. I know Ivar actually had like a major disease. I can't remember what it was, but everyone was like, no one knew what the hell the disease was at the time. So they're just like, yeah, he doesn't have any fucking bones. Everyone's like, yes. Actually, into some Scandinavian surnames. There we go. Yeah, these don't really sound like very Viking names, but fuck it. We're working with it. So these are the rough, clan. These are our rough 4 families here. Let's say this is going to be the chief's family. This is the chief's family, and he's going to have let's say 5 people. 5 people in his family. The Olsen family is going to have, let's say, 4 people. And the Anderson clan is going to have 4 as well. And Christensen is going to only have 3. Well, okay, so that gives us 5, 9, 13, 16. So we have 16 freemen. And that would give us 4 plus 5. That would give us about 9 others, in which if you can kind of determine how you want to handle it. Because again, everyone's going to change things a little bit differently. So with this, we got a pretty good, we've got a pretty good assortment of people. Let's actually say we have 4 thralls. Actually, let's say we have 4, we'll just call them independents. And 5 thralls. There we go. Here's our family, everybody. Actually, we'll do 25-ish. Actually, no. I know this seems kind of simple, but it's just kind of this is a method to have us have something in place rather than have nothing. Because right now, let's do this. The High Chieftains can be translated. So the families, chieftain, chiefs, major families. Because this are going to be the main characters. These are going to be the people who are going to kind of be important. Because you can play any number of these people. That's kind of the idea. If you want to play anyone in there, you're kind of saying that they do exist. And if there are only 15 people on the farm, and everyone's kind of decided that they're all there, maybe you aren't playing an independent. Maybe you're playing one of the family members. But obviously, this is going to change pretty drastically, because guess what? People get older. People are going to expand, whether in one way or another. People are going to show up, people are going to do this. It's the life of things. So, the families, I should say, let's see, all active characters will be drawn from the number of clansmen, including those from the families. A family is considered to be a free person. What's the actual term for it? I forgot the term. Where are you? Frigid, faceless. Okay, Carl's. A family is considered to be a batch of Carls. Carls at the least. Actually, yeah, they are to be actually of Carls or something or similar. these are free people who have decided to stay with the chief. Stay with the chief to survive Iceland. Alright, so we've established who we can play. We've also established kind of the idea of like what we're actually working with here. I'm walking here. Since kids in your game are going to be the next generation of PC, that means you have more reason to give birth to Maesta. See, that's a little side tangent here. That's one of the biggest problems with Maesta. That is like one of the major issues with Maesta in my mind. Is technically the game is about motherhood, but there's also zero reason for you to give birth in that game. It is incredibly strange in some aspects. You're not supposed to fix it. Again, there's like this entire like meta aspect to Maesta. That's kind of the issue. You can't. You both must and must not talk about it. That's one of the big ideas. Nobody talks about it, nobody mentions it, but everybody also knows. Everyone knows, but no one wants to say it. So let's actually think of like, what do we need to do? So what actually like clan stuff are we having to worry about? So we've established the, the characters. Who are we actually going to be playing and how we're going to be doing it? Let's see. Because we already are going to establish what the farm is going to look like. Because the idea is that the farm is going to be divided into 100-acre plots. Which actually, for pastoral life, 100 acres is fucking nothing. Just remember that, kids. Just know that. Let's see. So we have the farm. We also have the characters, the farm. We can probably also need to talk about... actually, what we can do is generating initial honor. Generating initial honor, so that's kind of like your personal family's history, like coming over here. Technically, everyone's on equal footing, but you might have a little bit higher footing, simply because you're better than the other people. And actually, what we'll do is random starting bonuses. Farm. And then we're going to do pastoral. We're going to do pastoral living. I guess we can have a pseudo system like this. It wouldn't be perfect, but what we can do is we can do the we'll call it the life and living system. Well, actually, we'll do it the we'll just call it a simple domain system for now. So the idea is you're going to have land we don't need to worry about. Kind of like authority, just the base authority the actual leaders have over their own. We could put in power. Population we don't really need to worry about because we're already kind of generating that, but I'm going to put this in here as actually no, we're going to put it as clansmen. Less in the idea of what you would think, but more along this like raw manpower. You're not going to have very high manpower to begin with. That's not the point. It's about just having a lot of people to kind of work with. Then we're going to obviously have our horde. And Okay. Okay. If I want to go full Fire Emblem, add in stat inheritance for kids. Give me 1 second. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Technically, what happens? Here's how this works. So, let's say a House Book Hollow, relatively young houses, they have getting 3 generations back, has 5 living members, 3 of which are player characters. Leon Brook Hollows, Leon, Fergus, and Eleanor. However, it's the middle sister Melody and the mother, Hannah of Pembroke. So, you also have 3 major servants. So, all members of the house rolled equal to their position of the family, roughly. And then, from there, you pretty much prestige is passed on to the next generation by adding the father and mother's prestige together and dividing it by 2. Every subsequent child changes the number changes by 1. Divide by 3 for the second, divide by 4 for the third. So, Leon and Hannah have 22 and 29 respectively. If they would have a 4th child, they would divide by 5 and come up with 10 prestige. I also put a very notable thing here. Doesn't it make it difficult to gain prestige? Yes. One of the big things is you can also inherit 2 characteristics. These are personality quirks or physical identifiers. Pretty standard. However, we also have... You can also develop genetic drawback benefits and drawbacks. On a 1 to 4, they do not. On a 5 to 6, they do. If both parents have the same benefit, this is flipped. 1 to 4 they do, 5 to 6 they do not. If the child immediately gains a benefit or drawback in addition to the characteristics of their parents. It's not necessarily like you're going down there and you must determine what this is. However, you can technically gain genetic benefits just as much as genetic drawbacks. It is very easy to develop. If you are crippled, there's a good chance that your children are also going to not be able to see. Also, we have things such as, yep, if your genetic drawback's bad, we also have kind of how these things happen. Gender of the child, roll a d6. The health of the child, roll a d6. Sickly, 4 season of health rolls. 1 child developed childhood sickness. 8+ is just death. The mother's health, up to 9+, out of commission. Genetic drawbacks, has injuries, if it has benefits, or we have all of this. Then we have bastards, how bastards actually function. Technically, the reality of rolling, being a parent is also, I should actually change that. Oh, wait a second, I forgot I couldn't do that because... Yep. Then we have court education, and then we also have to go through all of these. They pretty much, the idea behind education is that they get experience per year that they can choose to invest in things. That's pretty much it. And then you can also just send them off to be better. And sometimes they're not going to do anything, and they're just going to become something completely different. I do have a system in place for it. It's a little bit janky, but it does work. And if you do want to raise your son to be that, I can't stop you, you weirdo. Let's see, authority, power, clansman. Actually, what we can do... What we can do is we can do honor, authority, power, clansman, and horde. So the idea of honor is kind of the perception of others, perception of the family by others. The natural authority of the chief. power, ability to muster forces. Because people were commenting, by the way. People were commenting like, oh no, the Christian era sounds really boring. Here's the problem with the Christian era. Because in the Viking era, everybody, everyone in like up to the Christian era, up to about 1,000, no one really wanted to kill each other because it was like, well, we can go raiding and we don't want to start blood feuds. There's laws and shit. However, at the Christian era, we can't really raid other Christian kingdoms anymore. We're all Christian here. So what we can do instead is stab my fucking neighbor to death. By God. And yeah, stab your neighbor to death. Get into fights. Muster your armies. Because you should have an actual force now. You should actually have people who are following you. Because if you don't have people who are following you, you're probably going to die. Or get absorbed. Clansmen, the number available. God damn it. I keep trying to use my goddamn trackpad for things because I had to use a trackpad the entire time. The number of available hands. There we go. We'll actually put the domain system here. So the domain system. So the domain system. Every chief is a king of their own plot of land. While Iceland is unclaimed, its lands are bountiful in resources and requiring a firm hand to guide its acquisition. The chiefs are given a mandate from the gods to colonize Iceland and in turn protect their people and grow fat off its bounty. The domain system collection. Actually, I should say the collection of resources. The farm has mustered over time, as well as the natural honor and resource, the natural perception. Actually, the natural honor of the. Actually, natural perception of strength. Others perceive the farm and the chief to possess. Now, notice how one of the big ideas behind like chieftains during this era, or mostly in Viking and kind of this Icelandic era, the title of chief wasn't really inherited necessarily. It was given to the person who was probably the best suited for the job. So as a chief, normally you'd want to give it to your son because the son has power and you want to kind of continue that family line naturally. However, if you pass away and you don't have any natural sons or you don't have any kind of family members who people actually think is worth leading the charge, well, it is entirely possible someone else will take it. Your Huskarl, your another warrior, another friend of yours will take the mantle and they will become chief. And people will say, that's perfectly logical, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, it's just a natural progression of power. This gets a little bit even more formalized when the Godi system is set up. Because the idea behind the Godi system is you have these high chieftains whose entire job is to do just that. It's a management position, effectively, but can be passed down. It could be kind of bought and sold to other people. It's the idea of having power and also having responsibility. It's incredibly fascinating and also incredibly confusing. So when it says, like, oh, it's more about the farm and the chief rather than like an individual family, that's why. It's because the actual title of chieftain, it doesn't really matter who owns the title of chieftain. What matters is the fact that the chieftain's title belongs to somebody. It's a very unique scenario, but it's also very fitting for a brutal culture. And it is. It's a brutal fucking world. Viking society was not positive. It wasn't a happy-go-lucky place. So, we want to... So, there are five main variables. There are five main pillars of the domain system. Authority, clansman, it would be horde, honor, and power. And then we're going to say authority. Authority is the natural position of power the chieftain has, both over the clan, but the surrounding area. Authority is more about the title and position. Rather than strictly the person who bears the title, who has the title. Authority can be used to leverage resources, gain power, leverage resources, attract followers, and used as a bargaining chip. In tense diplomatic situations. Because right now I just want to explain the domain system. This is the core idea. So what are we going to do? So at the beginning of the saga. The players the players will roll 3d6. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Actually, okay. Players will roll 3d6. Yeah. Okay, so at the beginning of the song, the players will roll 3d6 to determine the initial authority. Initial authority of their chief's title. Low authority means that the title carries little weight, or has been besmirched. High authority means that the position is a lofty one. Is a lofty one. Being able to, being able to throw its weight around. Authority is effectively going to be your catch-all resource. It's first person of Arcanum, Steamworks, and Magicka. That sounds like a terrible fucking idea. That genuinely sounds like a terrible idea. And you can never, like, here's the thing. You would never be able to get away with a goddamn Arcanum game these days. That would be impossible. That would get tore. That would be tore to goddamn shreds within minutes of releasing. Not even releasing, just announcing it. God. Hell, Sifu actually is getting tore apart a little bit because of stupid bullshit. It's like, oh, come on, people. Like, my friend is actually playing Sifu. He actually really likes it. Clansman. A chief is naturally going to attract... actually, as Iceland becomes more attractive, more people will gradually flow in. Clansmen represents the natural represents the amount of people and available hands the chief can muster. These are women, children. These are women, children, and men. Actually, I should say these are men and women who are able to work the farm, and assist in the day-to-day. Clansmen are both an indication of size, as well as being able to recruit, draft, and use them to assist in various problems that will inevitably come up. Because the idea is you're going to start out as a farm and gradually you're going to expand. You could tell people to fuck off. That's entirely possible. Tell them to fuck off. Tell them to leave and go to another farm if you can't really take care of them. Like, but more people are always going to kind of start showing up, and it's going to start costing. But we're going to deal with that in the kind of the year-to-year system. So clansmen, okay. At the beginning of the saga, the players will have an equal number of clansmen to the starting number of clansmen they have just rolled. While these are also children. While those are composed of children who normally wouldn't be counted. Let's see, who normally wouldn't be counted. Hey, Jacko. Hey, people. See, I used to be able to do a Seth voice almost perfectly. Can't do that much anymore. Let's see. What are you cooking tonight? This is... Let me scroll up. This is kind of a redemption stream in a way. My computer exploded, so I've been needing to fix things. This is the Saga of Blood, Iron, and Soil, which is literally a Icelandic LARP. You're LARPing as the Icelandic people. Right now, I'm trying to get the domain system set up, which I should actually do this just to make sure. And the entire concept is that you are going to play a Viking family from about 874 to until the signing of the old laws, in which which Iceland became a vassal of Norway. It kind of depends on how you want to handle it. I'm going to leave that one kind of up to how y'all want to do it, and leaning more toward the sagas. But if you want to do Vinland, I mean, I can't stop you. Like one of the big ideas with this game is that you're going through the generations, and you might play a young 20-year-old man now, but you may play that same character 40 years later, where he's in his 60s, and he's very different. He feels very different. He plays very different, and he's learned things. He's gotten better and a lot worse because he's 60 in a time when dying at 50 was pretty common. And that's kind of one of the ideas, is that you're going to have your farm, obviously. And the farm is going to slowly grow over time. And you want to kind of build up your farm. You want to snooze your farm. You want to kind of work your way through thing. As far as I know, Pendragon does this. Pendragon does Anglo-Saxon. Very specifically pre-Anglo-Saxon, I should say. Because you're supposed to fucking kill the Saxons. And it is very much drawing more from Arthurian myth than anything. Like, the domain aspect is not as big. This is actually taken from a game that I wrote a very long time ago, called Blood, Coin, and Steel. However, Blood, Coin, and Steel is actually, drumroll please, a Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game, 2nd edition, but not Sword Chronicle. But yeah, that's kind of it's the same idea. Ooh. But yeah, that's kind of like one of the big things. Is like, I want aging to feel important. Right now, I'm trying to get like the domain, the actual farm set up, because I lost a lot of time. Let's see. Well, imposed children normally wouldn't be counted. There are wanderers and wanderers. All those are composed of children who normally wouldn't be counted. There are wanderers and chaotic souls who frequent the area. You could argue that, actually, if I remember correctly, there is one called, it's Pendragon, Land of Giants. Yeah, this is the Land of Giants. Which this is all about Beowulf and such. In times of Beowulf and King Arthur, yeah. It's a little, yeah, it's a little bit strange. Oh, someone pinged me. What do you people want? Wow, you want me to read your game? No, Poggers. Yeah. Let's see. I don't think people quite realize how many expansions Pendragon actually has yet. Pendragon is not a small game by any counts. Not just because it's the grand campaign. Well, those are imposed to children who normally wouldn't be counted. There are wanderers, chaotic who frequent the area and will sup and eat at the table. Eat at the table in exchange for some work. Then we're going to have to do Horde. Horde. Money has little. One day we'll get Pendragon in space. Don't want to be surprised. See, the thing is, I do have. If this game actually works the way I want it to, What I can do is I can apply this blood coin and steel proper to as more like an SRD and just put it in space. I actually even make a joke about it, like intergalactic space feudalism. I kind of make a joke about it. Yeah. Yeah, I went a little bit wonky with blood coin and steel. Hey, Arthurian legend is kind of a universal appeal. I mean, it's kind of a appeal to a lot of people over the years, and there's a reason kind of like that's kind of story is so popular. I mean, it's not exactly like an uncommon story. Let's see at the beginning. Horde. Money has money. Actually, so wealth and power go hand in hand. And in Iceland, this is no different. Rather than gold coins and pennies, though. The Viking people, the Vikings had hordes. This is a collection of goods, services, and tradables, which bolster the economic output of the farm. While they may not necessarily produce gold, the wealthy can still influence others with ease and afford the resources necessary to expand. At the beginning of the saga, the players will have horde equal to their arrival date, indicating what they were able to bring with them. It may simply be a few meager belongings, to a vast horde, to a vast war chest to influence the region. Because the idea is, son of a bitch, fucking yeah. Woo. Gotta hit my cup just right. Got coffee all over me now. It's great. I love it. I love coffee. Ugh. It's all over my pants. It's all over my desk. Nothing on my computer though. My brand new computer. Okay. Here, we're live on air. Live on air, everybody. You're here. You're gonna see the Notepad add-on experience Requiem. There we are. That's slightly better. Did I just rip my shirt off in midstream? Yes, I did. Because I had coffee all over it. But let's see. So, belongings to a vast war chest influenced the region. Word's pretty standard. That's not too exciting. Which does bring me to honor. There is something so valued in society that others would kill to preserve it. Honor is the resource of resource of kings, allowing them to influence others directly, as well as enforce their claims on the land. Honor is honor can be honor is simply a measure of influence and authority. The other influence and social standing. Actually, honor is simply a measure of influence and social standing the farm has in the current moment. An honorable family reflects an honorable farm. Actually, no. As with many things, honor is fluctuating. Honor is fluctuating, and when how do I want to word that? As with many things, honor is fluctuating, and when it is not satisfied, it will decrease. It will decrease to nothing. At the beginning of the saga, players will have honor equal to their arrival date. Honor is a valuable honor is okay. Honor is incredible. Incredibly. What's a good synonym for valuable? There we go. We'll use that. Let's see. Honor is an incredibly prized commodity. Commodity, even if it has no tangible form, as it allows the farm and the chieftain, to claim new lands and bolster themselves in times of need. Honor is always decreasing though, and only by the stout of heart will raise. What this is to say is, it is a lot easier to lose honor than it is ever to gain it, which is going to be one of the major things when it comes to the feud system. Pretty much the entire concept behind a feud is, I've stabbed your brother. Now we can go to law. We're gonna go to the court, and it might determine your brother threatened to kill me, and I defended myself. Your brother was doing something wrong, and I defended myself. He was clearly in the wrong. It's fine. However, you don't really always have to abuse that, because the only reason he was doing it is because that we were doing something that we shouldn't have. And then this person got involved, and then this person got involved, but he was goaded on by another person. It's a mess. So in a blood feud, another family may stab one of your own men, may stab one of your Carls to death as kind of like a retaliatory strike, which leads to these feuds between families, which leads to these, what leads to kind of the Saga of the Icelanders. Some of the most epic stories in there were about feuds between families as they escalate, which is one of the reasons why warfare was never actually that big of a, the largest army ever really mustered in Iceland was 1,000 men. And they weren't really supposed to be that large because nobody wanted to kill each other. Because if you did kill someone, then their kin might decide that they're going to try to kill you, and nobody wants that. But how it's going to work is, if I start the feud, I'm paying 5 honor in. And if you continue the feud, you pay 5 honor in. And if I continue it, 5 honor, 5 honor, 5 honor, 5 honor, 5 honor, you're just building up this massive amount of honor until 2 situations occur. Either A, we mediate and say, and someone comes out on top. It's kind of the idea of, I have the advantage, you know, it's like, my family's been wronged. We come to the agreement table, and and the other party says they're sorry. You know, pretty much it's like a big deal. We pay our debts. The feud is over, but I get all the honor. But if I admit defeat, nobody gets any honor. Or actually, more accurate, they would get the honor. Because I've admitted that I was wrong. And that looks bad on everybody. Or you wipe out the other family. You pretty much wipe them out to the point where no one can, like, really bring to bear against you and all. Like, yeah, there might be, like, a few wives left, but it doesn't really matter. Like, it's over. Everyone knows it's over. Then the survivor would get the money. It's always that kind of back and forth of who's apologizing, who's not apologizing. And ultimately, you're always wanting to continue this feud because you might get a shit ton of honor. Especially if you're already kind of tanked for honor. It's hard to get it because you pretty much have to sacrifice your horde. Instead of getting wealthier, you're instead kind of paying out this with honor, which is the idea of, like, giving gifts to people. It's like more trying to make yourself look like you're rich rather than be rich. You can't buy honor, but you can buy happiness. That's one of the big ideas. It's like you can't honorably do some things. But that doesn't mean you're also kind of want to goad people into fights, because you want to get into feuds. You also want to do things, which leads to the honor economy. It's a bloody exchange, because it was a bloody era. Stout heart will stout, and only by stout heart. Honor is always decreasing, though, and only by stout heart will it raise. Let's see, we need to power. All that power. Kanye. It's Kanye West, everybody. We all like Kanye. Power. War is inevitability. Conflict is what makes. Conflict is inherently human, and among the Norsemen of Iceland, it is second nature. Conflicts will inevitably spark between families or petty kings over disputes of honor, territory, or simply over wealth, territory, or honor. These battles can be costly and dangerous, forcing all those involved to be drafted into the armed forces. Power is power reflects the how do I want to word this? Power reflects the ability to bring a force to bear, whether for raiding, defense or offense. Power is equal. Let's see. Power at the beginning of the saga is equal to, let's see, it would be half the clansmen available. Half the clansmen available. Rounding down. This reflects the men able to be drafted for conflict, and the loose weapons available. Power may never exceed. Let's see. Power may never exceed the number of clansmen. Actually, power may never exceed the number of clansmen. Actually, power can be added to raids. Power can be added to raids or battles, leading to intense exchanges of blows, and inevitably leaving a body on the ground. So the idea behind power is your ability to bring people to war. It is your ability not only to arm them, it's your ability to make sure that you actually have people able to fight. Now, notice how I say men. Women aren't expected to fight. You're not supposed to. Like, there's a difference between, like, oh no, we're being attacked, draft everybody, and kind of having those desperate defense moments where you literally kind of use your authority. Kind of with that kind of situation, is you'd be using your authority to, like, temporarily raise your power up to your clan ranking, you know, the number of clansmen. While power is your ability to, like, these are actual warriors, like, we have actual fighters, or this is our, you know, ability to bring actual people to, you know, fight for us. Like, don't worry. Let's see. So this person can actually fight. Not pussyfoot around. He can actually swing a sword, which is very useful in a time when we need to raid England. Because guess what? The English have money, and we want it. Let's sack another church. It's fine. Honor is an incredibly chieftain by a stout heart. Will it raise? Power. All that power. War's inevitability. It's inevitably. And leaving a body on the ground. Conflict will spark between families or petty kings over disputes of wealth, territory, and honor. Get power, honor. Okay, so we're gonna kind of have to explain. Okay, now we're gonna explain the farm. So the farm and the land. The center of an Icelandic life is the farm. Of Icelandic life is the farm. Often, initially just composed of a few buildings with a massive longhouse. With a massive longhouse as the centerpiece. Initially the farm will grow and expand over the centuries. How do I want to word this? Iceland itself is a changing landscape. Over time, the land will shift and change, whether by natural causes, or by man-made disasters. To survive in such a harsh place. This place requires dedication and a ruthless determination. Actually, at the start of the game, the law speaker, that's the GM title, the law speaker will provide a map of the area. Actually, how do I want to word this? The law speaker will assist the group in determining the location of their desired homestead. This particular slice of Iceland will be divided into squares, roughly a 10 by 8, or roughly a 10 by 10, or even a 10 by 8, or smaller. Roughly a 10 by 10 grid. Each square represents 100 acres of land. Now, 100 acres actually sounds like quite a bit. In the grand scheme of things, how much power does it take to sack a church on average? How I'm going to do rating is pretty much it's going to be like a chance to like dedicate how much you need to it. How it's pretty much going to be, it's going to be like an undefended church can probably be pretty reliably sacked with 20. Like, it's not hard to do that. The idea is, though, you're not just going to dedicate your own men. It's Thorgrim's going to dedicate 5 people. Hrothgar is going to dedicate 10. Snorrison is going to dedicate 10 as well. It's kind of like everyone in the area pools all their resources together into a raid. And then you go on a raid, and everybody cashes out. So it's like every summer, if you choose to go on a raid, it's kind of like you're going to be the one providing the boat, you're going to be kind of providing the people, and everyone kind of, puts in. If you don't put any in, you're not going to get anything out, but those people are also going to be safe in case you roll disastrously poorly. Because, that can happen. Things can go wrong. And if you dedicate 5-10 people to it, and 5 come back, that's 5 people you don't have anymore. Or it could be even higher. That's kind of the idea. It's, you want to bring a lot of people out. Like, you want to kind of dedicate a lot of people. But you also kind of don't want to dedicate too many people. So it's kind of there's actually a term for it. It's, not a prisoner's dilemma. It's game theory. I can't remember the exact term, but pretty much it's, I'm going to get the highest amount of benefit if I put the most amount of people in. But if I put the most amount of people in, I'm also going to leave myself exposed. So what's the plan? Do you put a lot of people in for the promise of wealth and riches, or do you leave some behind to defend everything? It's kind of that back and forth. You don't know. Or you can just dedicate people to another person's raid. Say, like, we're going to go raiding. We're going to go raiding. And be like, well, he's got the boat. Well, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's fucking go. Which does make those inherent relationships with people a little bit more impactful. Where you're probably not going to get invited if the person with the boat wants to kill you. it also gives you a little bit of an incentive to build up a little bit more. If you can kind of build that power base, well, you may be able to actually get enough men by yourself and have enough to protect yourself and be able to do everything. Let's see, each square represents 100 acres of land, which can house which can have livestock or be a field, or be a field. Represents 100 acres of land. This land can be of various qualities with resources available to it. So actually what we need to do is we're going to have fertile land, which is, the idea of fertile land is that you can actually like grow shit here and it's good grazing land. So you can have a lot of animals in this area and you can grow things in it and it's generally good, but there's not actually going to be that much fertile land. We're going to have rough land, which is going to be poor harvest, poor grazing land, which is going to be a lot of it, and then we're going to have just how do I want to refer to just barren land? Yeah, we'll call it like just barren land. Because, like, the thing with Iceland, like, Iceland is like this. Like, that's Iceland. And you see all that mountain over there? That's not like happy-go-lucky, I can, like, farm up there. You can't farm the mountain exactly. There is a lot of land in Iceland which just isn't actually that good. Or it's hilly, you can't really raise crops necessarily that well on it. But you can graze on it. Still, it's not great for grazing, but you can graze on it. But which kind of leads to some of this territory which is just not very good. Let me see, it's especially when you hit the Highlands. This is the Icelandic Highlands. It's a very pretty place. Kind of see that. Again, very pretty place. You can't grow food here exactly. That's just not a thing you can do. That's not happening. You're going to die if you try to do that. So a lot of people actually stick on the coast, because if you actually, like, Iceland proper is mostly actually built around the coasts here. You can kind of see, like, a lot of things are coastal in nature. Like, no one actually lives here very much. That's why it says, like, these kind of territories, you're going to be kind of doing just these little pockets of land almost, because you don't actually have that much. And even then, this is kind of years upon years of kind of cultivating those lands, especially because when you consider way back in the day, all of this was wooded. Yes, it was woodland, because Iceland was a very heavy wood area. It was a wooded land, and the Vikings used it because you needed to survive on dirt effectively. So, and that's what they did. If they're seafaring people, so they chopped down shit. which is going to be kind of an important. I want to kind of make it an important part, which is the idea of you want to get fertile land, but there might be some trees in the way. So you're going to have to chop down some fucking trees. And that might take you 2-3 years just to chop down some fucking trees. Because isn't, a couple trees. No, this is 100 acres worth of trees. That's you chopping them down. That's you kind of converting them into things. That's you being able to kind of get that land in actual kind of usability. And you can start growing shit. You can start grazing in it, but it's not going to be that great. And that's kind of like one of the things where these pastoral life was the way to go for the Icelandic people, because it was the only way to go in a lot of cases. So, fertile, start of the game. Iceland various quality resources available on it. Let's see the main resource. Let's see the main so the area map may have various features as well, such as rivers, mountains, valleys, and other such natural features, which should be drawn on the map after they are found. In the earliest days of living in Iceland, the maps may be incomplete. There may be some grand ideas of what might be beyond there or not. And I'm actually going to put a footnote here. This is kind of optional. You don't have to do this, but it does add to the immersion factor of being a fresh settler in a new land you don't know. When the clan lands on solid ground, they will begin the process of building a new home. On solid ground, they will begin the process of building a new home. To represent this, they will establish the longhouse and the initial few buildings. They'll establish the longhouse and the initial few buildings in a dedicated area. In a tile representing their natural claim to the land. From there, they may choose to claim one additional tile representing their inherent need. So the idea is you're going to be able to... Actually, I wonder if I can find a grid. Grid. Can I just get a grid? I don't want to do spreadsheets. I want to just have a grid. Square grid fillable. online graphed paper. Git form. So, let's say, for example, is there a way to zoom in? Probably not. Guess we can just... Nope, they're not going to let me do that, are they? So, let's say, for example, we're going to be the red family, and we're going to start right here. We can decide to claim another piece of land, so that we'd be able to claim all of this land for ourselves. The issue comes in when we have those bastards, the Black Clan, let's say that they're right over here. They're going to now want to claim all of their land, so they might be able to get 3 tiles right off the bat. So they're able to do this, like, right off the bat. Because they're just been here longer than us. But we do know for a fact that there's, like, this big-ass river here, for example. And the big-ass river is annoying, and we have to kind of fight over it. The idea is that you are building and expanding, and also kind of trying to fight against Iceland a little bit, because Iceland doesn't really give a shit. Iceland is rough, and Iceland is going to fuck your day up. Representing their inherent need. However, the clan isn't the only one. Isn't the only ones here. Depending on when they landed, there may be already established farms in the area. Established farms in the area. They will have their tiles selected, and if any were there for a while, they may have 3 to 4. They may have 3 to 4 additional tiles claimed. Tiles claimed. Claiming a tile is about spending honor. If the tile is spending honor. The honor cost is equal to the distance of the. The honor cost is equal to the honor cost equates to the. I don't want to word this. Actually, the honor cost is determined by the number of tiles away from the longhouse and its established area. Let's see, away from the longhouse. So pretty much the farther you are away, the more it's going to be not fun to actually claim territory. Like, I need to kind of explain this here. This is overtime, incomplete or not, insert footnote. Because one of the big things that I know I'm going to have to put in is, like, early on anyway, Vikings moved around quite a bit. Like, you were not necessarily expected to move, but you were kind of like, yeah, like there was a inherent need, like say distance from, let's do distance from longhouse, honor cost, and we'll do pre-Christian honor cost. Actually, I'm not going to put the honor cost pre-Christian. We're just going to put the honor cost. Because one of the big things is the honor cost is going to be lower, much lower when Christianization happens. Because remember, God wants us to be rich and happy. And since we can't raid anymore, it's the inherent need has now decreased. It's kind of like kind of a reverse thing, being like, yes, the All Father demands this, and oh, well, everyone perceives me this way, and well, I need this. Well, it stops being about, well, I need this for me, and it becomes a lot more about, like, we have to claim this because if we don't, the church owns it. Which was actually a very big deal back in the day. You know, the church owned a lot of land. Which is something that, if you are in very certain areas, you might have to contend with. So, distance from Longhouse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's going to be a pretty logarithmic. It's going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Actually, no, we want to bump that up. So, let's do this. No, if we do, unless we do something like 5, 10, 15, 25, then we do like 35. Kind of this, you see this massive jump past about 3 tiles. Actually, we can probably, we'll do the jump there. We'll do something like this. You're gonna see bigger jumps at a certain point because, like, how it's gonna be is that you can get all the surrounding area of your longhouse. Which, if it's a square, you're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're roughly gonna get 8 squares. You're gonna get 800 acres of land at relatively cheap costs. Like, it's gonna cost you about 40 honor at the end of the day, and it's gonna cost you actually about 35 honor. But that's kind of the idea of, like, this is around your land. This is your territory because it's this. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, when Jesus comes by, he kind of fucks your day up. I'm not 200% on this cost right now. This is kind of how I'm feeling it, because what I want to do is, actually I should say 6, 36, no, because 5, that's a pretty long distance away, being honest. Like, you're not really going to be affording that, because again, honor is its own valuable resource that you need to keep track of, because if you don't keep track of your own fucking honor, you're not going to have a good time. So we need to do that. We need to do Nomo arigato mista robato damo. Damo. So we'll keep you 10. Do that. Middle, center. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll do that. Farm and land. Horde, the domain system. Okay. Something doesn't sound right. Alright. I've been streaming for like 2 hours. It's like 9 o'clock because I streamed a little bit late. So, thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Let's see. Since today is technically Tuesday, I will be streaming tomorrow. So, be on the watch out for that. I'll be streaming tomorrow. It's going to be the same thing. Thursday, maybe stream, maybe not, depending on how I'm doing, depending on how things go. Friday, there will be obviously another stream. And finally, on Saturday, there's actually going to be a Curious Case. Yes, the Curious Case of Japanese role-playing games was meant to be on the 5th. However, computer explosion, you already heard about it. So we're going to do it on the 12th. So I did add technically 2 games to the list. So hopefully that ties everybody over. Hopefully everyone's happy with that. There are going to be some odd ones. So thank you all for watching. And I will see you all maybe tomorrow. All right. Goodbye.